Welcome to Smart IQs, your path to excellence in education. Are you a student? Are you an educator? Are you just curious? This channel is your trusted educational resource where educational videos in trainings, in tutorials, in teachings of various subjects such as the sciences, mathematics, arts, technology, music, and many more. We are all going to be nurturing your IQs until it becomes smart. So our classes are designed for personal studies, for exam preps, also for homeschooling. So you can join our community today, the community of Smart IQs, and you will never regret. So we move on briefly. Let's get down to class, and that is chemistry class. Okay? Today we are going to talk about the periodic table. And by the end of the class today, you should be able to define what is the periodic table. Okay? You should be able to state or give us a brief historical background of the periodic table. Also, you should be able to state the importance of the periodic table. Are we together? Good. So, introduction. What is periodic table? Now, before we talk about the periodic table, I believe strongly that you must have understood what an element is. Okay? Elements, okay, cannot be split into any simpler unit by ordinary chemical process. Okay, and we talked about classifications of elements, so classified into metals, non-metals, and metalloid. Okay, the metals, they are going to ionize completely by losing an electron, and then the non-metal, they ionizes completely by gaining an electron. Are we together? Good. And so I believe from there you are able to understand the symbols. How do we name? How do we? What are the symbols? How do we come about the symbols of each element? Okay. So you should be able to state the first 20 elements. Okay. I believe that. Good. So, and now that we have a recap of what an element is and classification of elements. So let's talk about the periodic table. And now the periodic table talks about a tabular arrangement. Okay, a tabular arrangement of chemical elements, of elements in an organized form, either by their atomic numbers, their electronic configuration, okay, by their chemical properties. Are we together? Good. So what is the periodic table? So the periodic table is simply a tabular arrangement of chemical elements organized by their atomic numbers, okay, their electronic configuration, and by their recurring chemical property. You know, we have to put recurring there. Why? Because periodic means something that reoccur, something that happen in a repetitive manner. Are we together? Good. So you will find in the periodic table elements, and in a certain organizations, you will see them arranged based on their atomic numbers, based on their electronic configurations, based on their chemical properties. Are we together? Good. Then historically, okay, Dmitry Mendeleev, a Russian chemist, okay, back then in 1869, gave us a very good understanding of the periodic table. He called it the periodic system, okay, and that has since been modernized, okay, to what we have currently. But kudos must be given to him for such a work, and that is what we talk about science. So science, there will always be discovery, okay, there will always be discovery, there will always be what? Discovery. Are we together? Good. Then, of what importance is the periodic table? Why is the periodic table important? Okay, so we are going to talk about as an organizational tool. Okay, as what? Organizational tool. So what that means is that the periodic table provide us a way to organize and categorize elements based on their properties. Okay, provide us is a tool for organizing and categorizing elements based on their chemical properties. Are we together? So it's so important. So we talk about as predictive power. Okay, of what importance is the periodic table? Now the periodic table helps, and especially because when Mendeleev gave us the periodic system, okay, he provided a way that an unknown element, when discovered, I mean, the better form to know the property of an unknown element. Are we together? So for as a predictive tools, the periodic table help us to predict the behavior and properties of an unknown element. Are we together? Good. Then we talk about as a fundamental it serves as the basis. Are we together? For our understanding, okay, of the founding blocks of, the building blocks of matters. Are we together? Good. Like I stated earlier, I was talking about element. Of course, we know that matters talk about anything that has mass and occupies space, right? Good. And we talk about atom, elements. Are we okay? So of course, before we talk about elements, we talk about the state of matter, the solid, liquid, and the gaseous state. Okay, and from there, we are able to understand what an element is before we talk about the periodic table. Are we together? So it helps us, or it serves as an organizational tool where the elements are arranged and organized based on their chemical properties. Okay, it also helps us to predict, okay, the behaviors and the properties of unknown elements. Okay, the yet to be discovered element. Are we together? Then we also stated that the periodic table is of great importance because it's a cornerstone to chemistry. It's the cornerstone of chemistry. Okay, because it aids our understanding of the fundamental building blocks of matters. Are we together? Good. Then let's move further. We talk about key components of the periodic table, and we cannot talk about the periodic table without talking about certain components. Okay, and they are very important, especially elements. You cannot talk about the periodic table without talking about the elements, and so the element is a key component of the periodic table. And we have, as at now, okay, we have minimum 118 elements that are that have been discovered and with their unique symbol. I was asking, I was saying you should be able to state the first 20 elements. Okay? Now, we said the first 20 elements, but we still have over 90 many more. Are we together? So, element is a key component of the periodic table. Are we together? Good. Then the next thing is a row. Okay? We have another component that is so important in the periodic table, and that is the row. Okay? The horizontal rows, they are called the period. Okay? And we have 7 of them. We have 7 rows in the periodic table, and these 7 rows will also be called the 7 period. Okay? 7 period. Are we together? Then we have another very important component, and that is columns. Okay? Columns, they are the vertical. We have vertical columns, and they are called the groups. Okay? Columns are groups. Are we together? And we have 18 of them in total. Okay? We have 18 of them in what? In total. Very good. The next thing we discuss is the blocks. Okay? So elements are categorized into S block, P block, D blocks, and F block. Okay? Of course, the hybridization anyway, SPDF hybridization. Okay, so the blocks element belong tells us about the certain electrons, the last electron or the electron in the outermost shell falling on either S block, D block, P block, and F block. Are we together? So if for example, lithium, okay, lithium, the last, that's one S1, okay, so it's falling on the S block, so that's why definitely lithium will belong to the S block. Are we together? So periodic table also has a very important component known as the blocks. Okay, good. Let's move straight to a pictorial format of the periodic table of elements. Good. So we have our periodic table in front of us, and I've stated so much that, of course, so the periodic table is an arrangement of elements in, based on their what? Atomic numbers, based on their electronic configuration, and based on their properties. Are we together? Good. So let's pick our pen and let's try to have some little understanding. Good. So I've talked about a group. I talk about a group as down like this. So vertically is known as group. Those ones are like this. Okay, that is horizontal, and that is known as what? The period. So let's talk about, I talked about we have more than 100 elements. So you can count and say that yes, truly we have more than 100 elements. Are we together? And we say that we have the group is 18. So that means we have 1, okay, we have 2, okay, and then we have 3. Can you say that? Until we get to what? 18. Good. So we have that. That is 18. Then we say we have 7 period. Good. This is 1. Okay. As it is like this. Okay. That is 1. Then we have 2. Okay. We have 2 until we get to what? 7. Are we together? So we have 7 period. And this is block. This is, S block, please. Okay. S block. Okay. S what? S block. S block. This is P block. Okay. Pardon me. So this is what? P. Okay. This is D, and this is F. Okay. Are we together? This is F block. Okay, good. And I've talked about their hybridization. So the hybridizations, the numbers of atoms in the atomic and the numbers of electrons in the atomic shell will determine their hybridization, and the atomal shell please will determine their hybridization, and that determine the blocks they belong. Okay, of course, F, the lanthanide and the actinides, they are very special uh, members of the periodic table. Are we together? Good. So I believe you've been able to follow up the class up till now, and you've enjoyed the class. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next class. But before I go, let's just give you a recap of what I discussed so far. I talked about the periodic table, and I told you that the periodic table is an tabular arrangement, okay, of elements, chemical elements, based on the atomic number, based on the electron configurations, based on their chemical properties. Okay, some that have the same atomic number, they are arranged in a similar or in a particular group or period. The same numbers of atomic shell, the same period. Are we together? So based on certain things that is common, so elements will be arranged, but in a tabular manner. Are we together? Then we talk about historical background, fact that you should know. And we said that Dmitry Mendeleev, renowned Russian chemist, gave us the periodic table that have since metamorphosed into the modern periodic table that we have now. Okay, then I talked about of what importance is the periodic table. I say for organizational tools. Okay, as we've seen, helps us to what, to arrange elements based on their chemical properties. Are we together? Also, we said it helps us to be able to predict the behaviors and the properties of an unknown element. We also discussed that the periodic table it helps us to understand the basis. Okay, it's the cornerstone of chemistry, as it helps us to understand the basis, the fundamental building blocks, which is the matter. Okay, matter, very good. And then we were able to talk about the group as a vertical columns. We talk about the period as the horizontal rows. Okay, thank you once again, and do enjoy yourself. So see you in the next class.